Harriet slept at Hartfield that night. She was obliged to go the next morning for an hour or two to Mrs. Goddard's, but it was then to be settled that she should return to Hartfield to make a regular visit of some days.
While she was gone, Mr. Knightley called and sat some time with Mr. Woodhouse and Emma, till Mr. Woodhouse, who had previously made up his mind to walk out, was persuaded by his daughter not to refer it.
Mr. Woodhouse at last was off, but Mr. Knightley, instead of being immediately off likewise, sat down again, seemingly inclined for more chat. He began speaking of Harriet, and speaking of her with more voluntary praise than Emma had ever heard before. "I cannot rate her beauty as you do," said he, "but she is a pretty little creature, and I am inclined to think very well of her disposition. Her character depends upon those she is with, but in good hands she will turn out a valuable woman. You are expecting her again, you say this morning." Almost any moment. She has been gone longer already than she intended. Something has happened to delay her. Some visitors, perhaps. He presently added with a smile, "I do not pretend to fix on times or places, but I must tell you that I have good reason to believe your little friend will soon hear of something to her advantage." "Indeed. How do? If what sort?" "A very serious sort, I assure you," said Mr. Knightley, still smiling. "Very serious. I can think of but one thing. Who is in love with her?" Who makes you their confidant? Emma was more than half in hopes of Mr. Elton's having dropped a hint. Mr. Knightley was a sort of general friend and advisor. And she knew Mr. Elton looked up to him. "I have reason to think," he replied, "that Harriet Smith will soon have an offer of marriage." And from a most unexpectionable quarter, Robert Martin is the man. He is desperately in love. And means to marry her. "Come," said she, "I will tell you something, in return for what you told me. He did speak yesterday, that is, he wrote, and was refused." Mr. Knightley actually looked red, with surprise and displeasure, as he stood up in tall indignation and said, "Then she is a greater simpleton than I ever believed her. What is the foolish girl about?" "Oh, to be sure," cried Emma. "A man always imagines a woman to be ready for anybody who asks her." Nonsense. A man does not imagine any such thing. But what is the meaning of this? Harriet Smith refused Robert Martin. Madness if it is so, but I hope you are mistaken.